life, the bright lights, the type the crowd likes. Where you at, ballers? Ladies love me and men, they wanna be me, they pay to come see me. Where you at, ballers?
Lakers at Pacers, out of conference basketball. 7 o'clock, Gainbridge Fieldhouse. A top lean in this game, over 240. This is the third matchup this year between these two teams. They did play an under in the in-season tournament final in Las Vegas on December 9th, 123 to 109. But then the matchup normalized to how these teams want to play on March 24th in Los Angeles. That particular game finished 150 to 145. That is 295 points over 239.5. And now books are moving the line up to 240 at open, indicating another super high scoring affair. If you go through the metrics for these teams as to how they want to play offensive basketball, both teams have a top 5 pace, top 3 field goal percentage, and top 10 points per game. This game will be wide open. Shooting percentage will be very efficient. Buy this one at a lean over 240, and let's cash this ticket.
Warriors at Hornets. Junior Browne back with NBA Shot Clock on this Friday, March 29th with another free pick, and we're rocking with the Golden State Warriors, minus 12.5. Going against my word a little bit, I always tell you guys I don't like to get involved in any kind of spread that's double digits. I really don't like to get involved in spreads that are over 7 unless it's one of the elite teams. Something that the Golden State Warriors used to be, and that some of the public still treats them like they are, but they are absolutely not an elite level team. All of that being said, it's really a fade of the Charlotte Hornets, who have scored under 100 points in 7 of their last 10 games. This ain't March Madness, this is the NBA, and if you're not going to score 100 points per game, at least, you ain't beating anybody, including this mediocre Golden State team. Now, I'll stop disrespecting Golden State for a second by giving them this. The spot favors them in the sense that they had Draymond Green acting the fool again the other day, getting kicked out minutes into the game, Steph looking like he was crying, which seems like he's kind of fed up with Draymond and his antics. I think that this is a spot where this team can come together and rally around each other. I'm sure they had a long talk with Draymond. Steph, personally, I would make that assumption. And he's going to try and put his best foot forward and give you maximum effort. Well, what does that mean? Draymond can't score to save his life. So maximum effort from Draymond means defensive intensity, elite passing. He is the glue that holds this team together, for better or worse. I think you're going to see the best of Draymond, the best of Steph, because remember, Steph is from Charlotte. So it's a homecoming for Steph, who only gets to play at home once a year. It's a big deal for Charlotte fans, a big deal for Steph. The Warriors are desperate for wins. Give me Golden State, the much better team, minus 12.5 against the Hornets, who are going nowhere fast. Let's cash another ticket, y'all.
Clippers at Magic, NBA Shot Clock. Friday, March 29th, 2024. An official play on the Magic at plus 1.5. Orlando comes into tonight's game in Game 6 of an 8-game homestand off back-to-back home losses. Very uncharacteristic for a team that has been excellent at the Kia Center all year. Zooming into those 2 losses versus Sacramento and Golden State, they got outscored by 15 points from the 3-point line against Sacramento, and they came out and lost the first quarter to the Warriors 27-11, 3 for 22 from the field in the first quarter. Both situational outliers. Orlando is 4-1 ATS, staying at home off a prior home outright loss, and they're getting a great spot to fade the Clippers. This is a Clippers team that has incomprehensibly fallen off the grid post All-Star break. Camaraderie is lacking, fluidity is lacking, and defense is lacking. The Clippers are 11-12 straight up over their last 23. Mediocre, to put it bluntly. And they are 6-16-1 ATS in that same sample. very, very poor. This is a revenge game. Orlando did lose to the Clippers back on Halloween in Los Angeles, 118 to 102. Key point on that game, it was a Sunday afternoon, and it was a 3rd and 4 road back-to-back fatigue spot for Orlando. This will reverse tonight, a noticeably short line for the Clippers, who have not been laying this short of a figure in years versus the Magic. We have this game for the Magic to get off this mini schneid and win outright NBA shot clock on a Friday by the Magic at +1.5, and let's cash this ticket.
Sixers at Cavs. Junior Browne back with NBA Shot Clock on this Friday, March 29th with another free pick. This is just a lean, y'all. This is not an official. Taking the 76ers +7.5. Let's just start here. In what world are we living in that we're laying 7.5 points with this Cavs team without Donovan Mitchell? If you've been paying attention to them, their defense is still pretty good. Their offense is bottom of the barrel. Scoring points is a problem for this team without Donovan Mitchell, and it's obvious why. He's one of the 15 best players in the league. Some might argue top 10. Now, on the flip side, I have been off the 76ers ever since Joel Embiid got hurt for obvious reasons, and it was mainly because you knew they were going to be worse offensively, but you didn't know they would go from one of the best defenses in the league to literally bottom 5 for a good 2-month span. Whatever Nick Nurse has figured out in the last couple of weeks, it's working. And I'm not saying that their defense has gone back to the level it was. Don't be ridiculous, guys. Joel Embiid is the best defensive player in the NBA, considering the level that this team has dropped in his absence. There is no other defensive player on any team that you will remove, and their overall defensive rating will crater the way the 76ers has. I say all of that to say Nick Nurse is a defensive-minded coach, and it is directly his responsibility to fix these defensive issues, and it seems like he's starting to figure it out. It's taken way longer than it should, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking about the here and now, and in the here and now, the 76ers are not 7.5 points worse than this Cavaliers team as presently constructed. So, I say all of that to say I still need to do a little bit more research because I want my statistics to match my opinion, and I don't have that data available just yet, so it's just a lean, not an official. 76ers +7.5. Let's catch another ticket, y'all.
Bulls at Nets, 7:30 p.m. in Brooklyn. A top play, the best bet of the day, Chicago -4.5. Chicago comes into tonight's game with very noticeable home-to-road polarization that is truthfully very surprising. Chicago is 4-10 last 14 ATS at home, but they are 15-5 ATS last 20 on the road. This team doesn't like the United Center. We don't know why, and they love playing in opponents' gyms. This is also a double revenge game, the third and final matchup of the year between these two teams. Brooklyn has won both. Go back to the in-season tournament on November 3rd in Chicago. Brooklyn 109, Chicago 107, and slightly later on in November, Brooklyn a home win, 118 to 109 on a -3. Key point with both of those games, Zach LaVine was playing for the Bulls. Zach LaVine is a great professional basketball player, but this year when he played, the Bulls lacked camaraderie and they could not get it together on the court. Now that he's not playing, this team is far better, and this line moving from Brooklyn at home -3 to Chicago on the road -4.5, a heavy line move indicating Chicago by 8 at minimum. Brooklyn does come home off a 4-game road trip and 2 wins. 2 wins against Toronto and Washington. Complete fool's gold. Total bottom feeder basketball. Expect Chicago to continue their upward momentum on the road in this peak motivation spot on this strong number. Buy the Bulls at -4.5, and let's cash this ticket.
Knicks at Spurs. Junior Browne back with NBA Shot Clock on this Friday, March 29th. With another free pick. This is not an official, it's just a lean. And the lean is the under 212.5. Now, my official lean was actually San Antonio under 101.5. 101.5 points is just such a low number that you need everything to go right for you to cash a ticket like that. And I'm just not in the business of gambling. I'm in the business of investing, as I've repeated to you guys several times. And I'd rather invest in the Knicks defense and their lack of ability to score. And I can already hear you Knicks fans in the comments talking about, oh, they put up a $145 the other day and a $120 something. Yeah, against really, really bad teams, which, by the way, the San Antonio Spurs qualify as. So I get what you're trying to say. However, for me, as a basketball fan, the Knicks' style of play right now is unwatchable. I know that doesn't matter when it comes to handicapping, but that's why I have not been betting on the Knicks that much. I have no interest in watching Dante DiVincenzo and Miles McBride jack up 25 threes a game. It's just not entertaining to me. But as a capper, I get my information from a combination of the statistics and watching games. So I say all of that to say the New York Knicks defense has been elite from beginning to end of the season. We're approaching the end of the season right now. We'll see how it looks in the playoffs. But it's been constant, it's been consistent, it's been trustworthy, it's something you can invest in. Same thing applies for the mediocrity of the San Antonio offense. As good as Wembanyama looks, this is a mediocre offense. Here's the thing though. The reason I don't want to play the under 101.5 is because the San Antonio starting five's net rating keeps going up. It keeps improving, and they are a good offense with their starting lineup. But that's not how basketball works, right? Everybody gets to play, and as the bench guys come in, that statistic goes south in a hurry. So all of these things to me are not enough to invest in. Am I going to get, what version of the Knicks offense am I going to get? What version of the San Antonio offense am I going to get? What's the variance for the Knicks three-point shooting going to look like? Is Dante DiVincenzo going to take 10 threes? He's going to take 20 threes. With so many unknowns, I got to get back to the basics, dig back into the statistics, watch a few more games before tonight, before I can invest. But my lean is under 212.5. Ride with me, and let's cash another ticket, y'all.
Blazers at Heat, 8 o'clock, Miami, Florida. Out of conference basketball, another lean on the under in this game, under 206.5. This is the second matchup of the year. These teams did face off in Portland on February 27th. A very low scoring affair, Miami 106, Portland 96. Key point on the line, 215 there, 206.5 here, indicating books expect this to fall right around 198 points. Neither of these teams score the ball with any efficiency, 28th and 27th in points per game. And Portland is starting 5 rookies who in back-to-back home games have scored 92 points at Houston and 106 points at an Atlanta team that does not play any defense. That is not the story with Miami, who plays an extreme throwback, physical, defensive style of basketball. You can expect this game to be a rock fight tonight. If you want to bet this game, bet the under at 206.5, and let's cash this ticket.
Rockets at Jazz, Junior Browne back with NBA Shot Clock on this Friday, March 29th, with another free pick, and we're rocking with Houston, minus 7.5. I can't keep saying rocking with the Rockets, so we're rocking with Houston, minus 7.5. First of all, you can't be in the business of fading the Houston Rockets unless you're dealing with one of the top playoff teams, even possibly the elite. Houston have been tearing through the league ever since Şengün went down, and people get confused. Start talking, oh, they're better without Şengün. Clearly, they're not better without Şengün. What they've done is discover their ability to play a different style of basketball, which will make them significantly better once Şengün returns to the lineup. All of that being said, I'm also fading the Utah Jazz, a team who is tanking on purpose. I cannot stand tanking teams. I am in no position to question Danny Ainge. He's forgotten more basketball than I'll ever know in this lifetime and the next. However, tanking is tanking, and if Utah would have kept their team together, they would at least be fighting for a play-in spot. But instead, they're looking towards the future, which makes sense from their perspective. I don't really give a shit about that. I care about the here and now, and in the here and now, the Utah Jazz are trash. because they're experimenting with some possible future elite NBA talent, but mostly mediocre players, right? Keontae George looks like he could possibly be something. Lauri Markkanen is extremely underrated. As a matter of fact, if Lauri Markkanen was in the Eastern Conference, he would be an all-star. I don't believe he's playing in this game, which is another reason I'm fading the Jazz. The Jazz simply do not have the horses offensively to score enough points to keep up with this elite Rockets defense. And on the flip side, the Rockets' improved offense can definitely put points up against this inferior Jazz defense. Give me the Houston Rockets, the runaway fate train, -7.5. Let's cash another ticket, y'all.
Suns at Thunder, 8 o'clock. In Oklahoma City, an official play, Phoenix -1 unit. Phoenix is in playoff mode to the max, in the center of a jam-packed Western Conference playoff picture, currently sitting in the 7th seed, not where they want to be. This team does not want to play in the play-in tournament and will be turned up in this matchup for that reason. Oklahoma City is not with their best player, SGA, tonight, which will hold them back immensely. OKC was scorching hot for months at home and are now 0-5 last 5 ATS at the Paycom Center, which you can't expect as a buy low when they were that hot for that long and without SGA. This is a double revenge game between these two teams. Oklahoma City has beaten the Suns twice on the road in Phoenix, 111-99 back in November, and more recently on March 3rd, 118-110. Key point on the line, Oklahoma City was a strong road favorite in Phoenix most recently, and now is an underdog at home, suggesting double revenge, urgency for Phoenix, and a Phoenix win on average by 6 to 10 points tonight. By the Suns at -1 on this Friday, and let's dominate.
Mavs at Kings. Junior Browne back with NBA Shot Clock on this Friday, March 29th, with another free pick. Rocking with Dallas on the money line. I'm just going to give you guys my personal opinion. I do not think the market has properly caught up to Dallas as an improved team since they made the trades. And I'm not saying that from a statistical standpoint. I'm literally just using my eye test. I've watched almost every game they've played, and I've seen a couple of things. I've seen way more athleticism. Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington give them a lineup flexibility that allows them to be really big. They can go small ball. They can go Gafford and PJ Washington at the same time. Sometimes they sit both Gafford and PJ and go Kleba at small ball 5 and just put a bunch of guards out there. They can give you so many different lineup combinations. Their points at the rim, they've gone from like 23rd, I believe, all the way up to 7th. They're just a completely different basketball team, but it's been in small increments. It hasn't been one big swooping change. And when I look at them against this Sacramento team, I just feel like they have so many different guys that they can throw at Sacramento to slow them down. On top of the fact that I see the chemistry between Kyrie and Luka, how excited Luka is every time Kyrie scores, the fact that he knows he has another star that can really give him support. I just think that this takes their ceiling and their potential to a whole different level. These two are directly in competition for a playoff spot. I'm going to take the better team on a short number, in my opinion. Dallas on the money line. Let's cash another ticket, y'all.
Timberwolves at Nuggets, 9 o'clock. Ball Arena, Denver, Colorado. Big time basketball, a top lean in this game as we await roster confirmation throughout the afternoon. We like the Nuggets here, waiting to see if Jokic plays at -6.5. This is the third matchup of the year between these two teams. Denver took a margin loss November 1st in Minnesota, 110-89, and they did revenge the Wolves on March 19th, again in Minnesota, a tight one, 115-112. The line in that matchup at the open was -1.5. This opens up at -6, indicating strength coming on Denver tonight. Denver is coming off of a home loss against Phoenix. Their second home loss against Phoenix in the last month. The last time they lost to Phoenix, they came back in the next game at home and beat Boston. Very impressive bounce back. And speaking of bounce backs, Denver is 5-0 ATS at home this year off of a previous home outright loss. This team doesn't lose very often at home, and when they do, they come back with peak championship quality focus. As I mentioned, the number is indicating some margin tonight. We have Denver to win this game on average by 8 points. It is NBA Shot Clock on this Friday. Always bet responsibly, and let's dominate.